Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. Now, the U.S. government has intervened in a bid to assure investors that the U.S. banking sector is safe. The intervention comes after the shutdown of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank as they were unable to pay back customers who sought to withdraw their deposits. Now, the U.S. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation has taken control of both institutions. U.S. President Joe Biden addressed the issue today.
All customers who had deposits in these banks can rest assured, rest assured they'll be protected and they'll have access to their money as of today. That includes small businesses across the country that bank there and need to make payroll, pay their bills, and stay open for business. No losses will be, and this is an important point, no losses will be borne by the taxpayers. Let me repeat that. No losses will be borne by the taxpayers. Instead, the money will come from the fees that banks pay into the Deposit Insurance Fund.
Now, Mr. Biden says the leadership of the bank will be fired, but persons who invested in both institutions will not be compensated under this coverage. The Federal Reserve announced that it has launched a review of the supervision and regulation of Silicon Valley Bank following the lender's sudden implosion. Now, the Silicon Valley Bank demise is the largest in the United States since the 2008 recession. Meanwhile, development economist Dr. Chris Stokes says he expects the effects of the run on these banks by depositors to be contained. He says a spillover into the local market is unlikely.
With the increase in interest rates, we have seen where there have been adjustments in the rates to consumers, and I have not yet seen any signs of either the high inflation or the level of economic activities putting us in a position where we fall outside of the boundaries of our stress tests, which is what would have informed how much capital we have in place. So as I speak, I am not concerned about the Jamaican sector per se as is, but it is a note to self. It is another learning as to what happens when you have vast mismatches on your balance sheet between demands that can be called upon now and where your money is, and the effect that interest rates will have on that in the short and the long term.
Now back home, Mayberry Investments Limited listed its 4 tranches of the bond offer it had earlier this year. Now the Jamaica Stock Exchange, it was listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange today. Group Business Development Manager at the JSE, Andre Gooden, says this brings the total number of listed securities to 152.
This successful application for the JSE bond market will increase the number of listings to 6. And this will be the 4th listing for 2023. With the listing this morning, the total number of listed securities has increased on the market now to 152 listed securities. The market, despite what people may think, is moving.
Now, all tranches except for tranche 1 were oversubscribed during the initial public offer. Now, Mr. Gooden says the company raised over $6 billion during the IPO, which is the largest amount raised by a company for the 2022 year coming into 2023. And to the foreign currency market now, the US dollar is being sold for an average $153.09. $111.58 is the going rate for the Canadian, $185.25 for the pound, while it's costing an average $165.57 for the euro. The JSE index lost 1,581 points today, while the junior market index gained 12 points. Among the winners were Palace Amusement, CAC 2000, Epley 7.5% preference shares due 2024, G-West Corporation, and Portland JSX. While the decliners were led by Productive Business Solutions, PBS US dollar shares, JMB Group 7% cumulative redeemable variable preference shares, Cygnus Real Estate Finance US dollar shares, Sterling Investments US dollar shares, and Paramount Trading Jamaica. And that's the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. Good evening.